DMC News. DMCI Holdings, Inc. Cesar Buenaventura cashes in as DMCI surges to five-year high. Former Monetary Board member Cesar Buenaventura took some profits from his stock investments in red-hot DMCI Holdings. Buenaventura sold 200,000 DMC shares at P12.62 on January 27, a week after the diversified listed firm hit a five-year peak of P13.06. The DMC vice chairman still has 6.35 million DMC shares worth P74 million. DMC is set to return to the Philippine Stock Exchange Index next month after getting booted out 18 months ago. UBP News. Union Bank of the Philippines, Inc. Earnings of Aboitiz Family's Union Bank up slightly to P12.7B in 2022. Union Bank of the Philippines said its net income grew slightly to P12.7 billion last year from P12.6 billion in 2021 on the back of record revenues. In a statement, the Aboitiz-led bank said the 2022 profit translated to a return on average equity of 9.7%. Which takes into consideration the impact of the P40 billion additional capital coming from the stock rights offer in May last year. Net revenues rose 16% to an all-time high of P52.2 billion, mainly coming from net interest income and fee-based income, which compensated for the absence of trading gains.
Net interest income jumped 31% to P38.9 billion on account of higher margins and volume. Net interest margins expanded by 27 basis points to 4.9% driven by the higher proportion of consumer loans to total loans and the robust growth of low-cost CASA deposits.
Fees and other income doubled to P13.4 billion largely due to the consolidation of the acquired Citi consumer business, as well as growing digital customer transactions. Total assets expanded by 31% to P1.1 trillion. Customer loans surged 42% to P479.2 billion. Resulting from the combined growth in UBP and Citi Savings consumer loans, as well as the acquired Citi consumer business. Total deposits went up by 25% to P711.3 billion due to the overall expansion of the retail customer base and the strong take-up of cash management products from large corporates. In 2022, we witnessed a momentous shift in our business model. We have a solid balance sheet that continues to provide us above-industry net interest margins. The shift in digital also allowed us to grow our fees coming from mobile fund transfers and payments. We were able to book the same bottom line as the previous year, but with less reliance on trading, said Manuel R. Lozano, EVP and Chief Finance Officer. Union Bank President and CEO Edwin R. Bautista said the bank reaped benefits from the strategies it implemented last year. These include the seamless integration of the acquired Citi consumer business, which includes customers and employees, and the commercial launch of Union Digital as one of the 6 digital banks licensed by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas.
We delivered on our promise and the market has rewarded us for it. Our recent stock performance, increase in stock trading volumes, and the strong commitment from our major shareholders on our stock rights offering reflect shareholders' trust in the value that will be created from the execution of our strategies, Bautista said.
BPI News. Bank of the Philippine Islands Ayala's raise P20.3B from BPI's oversubscribed bond offer. Bank of the Philippine Islands, BPI, the banking arm of the Ayala conglomerate, raised 20.3 billion pesos from a fixed-rate bond offering that was more than 4 times oversubscribed. The bond issuance was met with strong demand from investors, resulting in oversubscription of 4 times its base amount. The bonds are now tradable on the Philippine Dealing and Exchange Corp. The BPI reinforcing inclusive support for MSMEs bonds, which formed part of the bank's P100 billion bond program, have a term of 1.5 years and carry an interest rate of 5.75% per annum, payable quarterly. We are grateful to our investors for their continued support and trust in BPI. We are also excited that the investments in the BPI RISE bonds will help us empower micro, small, and medium enterprises to reach their full potential and succeed in their ventures. The success of the bond offering brings BPI one step closer to realizing our vision of building a better Philippines. One family, one community at a time, said BPI President and CEO Jose Teodoro K. Limcaoco. BPI will use net proceeds from the offer to finance or refinance the business requirements of eligible micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, consistent with BPI's sustainable funding framework. PAL News PAL Holdings Inc. PSE finds Lucio Tan's PAL Holdings disclosure violations. Ultra-billionario Lucio Tan's PAL Holdings has been penalized by the Philippine Stock Exchange for non-compliance with the disclosure rules. In a notice to the public, the PSE said PAL violated Section 4.1 and 17.5 of its rules. Under Sec. 4.1, issuers are required to disclose to the exchange once they become aware of any material information or corporate act, development or event within 10 minutes from receipt of such information or the happening of said act or event. Disclosure must be made to the PSE prior to its release to the news media. It must be made within 24 hours from the time of initial disclosure. Sec. 17. 1, on the other hand, requires any person who is directly or indirectly the beneficial owner of any equity security of a listed issuer or is a director, officer or principal stockholder thereof to submit the necessary reports. MPI News. Metro Pacific Investments Corporation. MPIC targets P500M revenue from dairy business by 2025. Metro Pacific Investment Corp. MPIC expects to generate P500 million in revenue from its dairy business by 2025, according to the president of its agriculture unit Metro Pacific Agro Ventures, MPAV. When MPIC invested in Carmen's Best, we wanted it to become a $500 million business by 2027, and now we are cutting that shorter, MPAV President Jovi I. Hernandez told Business World in a recent interview. By 2025, we will reach that, and that's not yet with LR, he added, referring to MPAV's partnership with Israel's LR Group to expand MPIC's existing dairy business. If we add on the other subsectors, especially the LR, we are seeing a much bigger revenue that we'll be contributing to the group, Mr. Hernandez said. MPAV and LR Group are investing P2 billion in the partnership, which aims to build a dairy facility in Bay, Laguna. They aim to produce at least 6 million liters of milk every year. The operation is expected to begin in late 2025 or early 2026. The construction of the facility will start this year. MPIC previously entered into a partnership with Carmen's Best Group, which consists of Carmen's Best Dairy Products, Inc., Carmen's Best International Dairy Company, Inc., Real Fresh Dairy Farms, Inc., and the Laguna Creamery, Inc.
I think the long-term aspiration is for MPAV, at a certain point in time, to become as big as the others. Maybe not as big as PLDT, but based on what we see today, the opportunities in terms of investing in agri-subsectors, we think that it's pretty sizable, and there is a chance that it will become a good revenue driver for the group, Mr. Hernandez said.
He said the MPIC is also eyeing getting into the coconut production business. We want to invest in subsectors where we think the Philippines should be number one, and that is coconut. We used to be number one in coconut, Mr. Hernandez said.
MPAV was set up by MPIC to be the arm that will drive all agricultural endeavors and the ambition to develop the food sufficiency of the Philippines' agricultural sector, starting with the growth of Philippine dairy as an industry, according to the company.
MPAV noted that the Philippines imports a little over 2.8 million metric tons or 99% of its milk and milk byproducts due to poor feed and management practices, high production costs, and the lack of adequate dairy infrastructure. MPAV's mission to expand dairy farming allows over 10,000 Filipino farmers to have a better livelihood. Beyond that, the conglomerate can also help the Philippines become a more self-sufficient dairy-producing nation, the company said.
MPIC is one of three key Philippine units of First Pacific, the others being Philex Mining Corp. and PLDT Inc. Hastings Holdings, Inc., a unit of PLDT Beneficial Trust Fund subsidiary MediaQuest Holdings, Inc., has a majority stake in Businessworld through the Philippine Star Group, which it controls.
ASLAG News. Raslag Corp. RASLAG Corp. said on Monday that it plans to acquire about 42 hectares of land in Tarlac Province's Girona town for around $273 million to serve as the site of a proposed solar power plant. In a disclosure to the stock exchange on Monday, the company said it intends to purchase the property in barangays Plastado and Carino for its RASLAG 6 project at P650 per square meter. The acquisition price is exclusive of capital gains taxes, documentary stamp taxes, land reclassification and conversion fees, and other miscellaneous fees and expenses, it said. Raslag said the transaction involves a down payment of P61.43 million, apart from P27.30 million in earnest money to be paid upon the acquisition agreement. The balance is to be paid in 9 monthly payments of approximately P20.48 million.
RASLAG 6 will be connected to the 69 kV transmission line of the National Grid Corp. of the Philippines. Raslag said the additional operating solar plant would increase its income in the coming years. The company said it would buy the property from multiple sellers at a price determined by the parties after negotiations. The acquisition will be financed by internally generated funds but may also be aided by a bank loan or loans, as may be necessary, it added. In a separate disclosure on Monday, Raslag said it tapped Solenergy Systems Inc. as the onshore engineering procurement and construction EPC contractor for RASLAG 4 at P204 million. Pure and PAM, Inc. will install the 69 kV transmission line for the project at P35.09 million.
Pure and PAM will also construct the switching station for RASLAG 4 at P26.90 million. At the local bourse on Monday, shares in the company closed 3 centavos lower or 1.7% to end at P1.73 apiece. PSE approves Upson's nearly P5B initial public offering.
Information technology retailer Upson International Corp. has secured approval from the Philippine Stock Exchange (PSE) on its P4.88 billion maiden offering.
We are both thrilled and grateful to have received the PSE's approval for our planned initial public offering, IPO. This is a significant milestone as we look forward to sharing our growth prospects with everyone. Upson President and Chief Executive Officer Arlene Louisa T. Tsai said in a press release on Monday. Subject to post-approval requirements, the local bourse issued the notice of approval to the company on Friday. The maiden offering will allow Upson to sell up to 789.47 million primary common shares and up to 98.68 million secondary common shares, with an over-allotment option of up to 98.68 million secondary common shares, at P5.50 each. The IPO's price-setting date is set on February 28, while the offer period will run from March 6 to 10. The tentative listing date is on March 16. Upson aims to raise gross primary proceeds of around P4.34 billion at its offer price, which will be used to fund the expansion of its store network and for other general corporate purposes, the company said. Among its plans is to open 250 new stores or an additional 25,000 square meters of retail space from 2023 to 2027. Its expansion plans also include adding warehouses and distribution facilities in 9 other areas nationwide. The nationwide logistics infrastructure that supplements its retail network is to ensure uniform pricing of its products across all its branches, the company said. Upson's 9-month 2022 net income grew by 68.6% to P400.23 million from P237.38 million in the same period a year earlier. The company's net sales as of September of last year also rose by 10.2% to P7.03 billion from P6.38 billion in 2021. Our long-valued suppliers and clients have helped us grow to where we are today. Going public is Upson's way of sharing our growth and our success with them through partnership, said Ms. Tsai. Upson operates a nationwide retail network of 200 stores as of September 30, 2022, through its several wholly owned retail brand outlets which are Octagon Computer Superstore, Micro Valley, Gadget King, and Octagon Mobile. It also has concept and specialty stores like Acer, HP, Brother, and Silvertech in select locations. What are your thoughts on the potential market correction? Do you agree with the analysts' predictions or do you have a different perspective? Share your thoughts in the comments section below.